Hey friends, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's having an amazing and super productive day. So let me ask you, are you an empath? Do you know whether or not you're an empath? Is this something that you've heard about, you've never heard about, you're curious about? Does it resonate? Maybe it doesn't resonate at all. If so, then this whole live is going to bore you to tears. You might as well go listen to someone else. But if it does resonate, I want to have a conversation with you today around what that looks like and feels like. If we haven't met before, I'm going to take a quick moment to introduce myself. My name is Tamie M. I am an empowerment coach for women. I teach radical self-love and next level manifestation. Essentially, I help women do what they need to do from the inside out to be able to manifest and attract true love and abundance into their lives. And I gotta tell you, I'm having a blast doing it. Having an absolute blast. But I have to wonder if there's something going on with my live. Oh, there we go. Sherry just hopped on. Okay, so we're good. A little odd to have such dead silence right out of the gate. So I was just making sure that all was well. Hey Sherry, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. So yeah, I want to have a conversation around this whole empath thing. And you know, what's interesting is I actually didn't have any plans to go live today. I had no plans to go live today. And lately I've made a decision that I'm really going to be tapping into and turning into a higher vibration, a higher level, a higher intensity of guidance when it comes to what I'm delivering in my business, to my clients, through my coaching packages, through my courses, etc. Right? God, take the wheel. Right? I'm on my knees every morning asking for guidance. I'm really just working at being in flow, as one of my mentors is, very well known for saying, just working from a place of being in flow. So I had no intention of going live today. And I'm doing some research on something completely unrelated, and I come across this article on being an empath. And it caught my attention because it's a subject that, I roll around in, have been for quite some time, being empathic, being an empath myself. And it was so good. It was so good that I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a live today. And I'm going to share with you the contents of this article and share the source as well, so that you can go check it out if you like. But I just found it to be one of the most succinct and clear explanations of what it's like to be an empath, like what that reality is like and how we are received by other people. So the title of the article is 10 Reasons Why. How did that go again? 10 reasons why most people can't handle you. 10 reasons why most people can't handle you. And I can tell you, for a long time in my life, I really struggled. I mean, way back as far as childhood, I really struggled. Never felt like I fit in. Never felt like I fit in. Definitely had a whole other level of sensitivity in many ways, like on many levels, in many ways than anyone around me, certainly anyone in my family, but like even out in school and as I got older, out in the workforce and what have you, and ultimately I learned that I'm empathic. And there's a reason why I've had certain types of struggles and challenges in my life. And once that whole concept opened up to me and I started to gather more and more information around that, more and more clarity, started to understand myself better and how I fit into this world, or don't, to be more precise, actually, because we really do go through life feeling like, where's our family, and did they just drop us off? Like, did they just dump us off, like tuck and roll out of the spaceship? Because we don't feel like we fit in, right? And it causes all kinds of challenges and struggles. But once I was opened up to this whole concept and started to understand this aspect of myself better, things got easier. And the older I get, the more I understand, the easier it gets. So I thought it would be a really interesting conversation. And like I said, this particular article that I just stumbled across today, I believe, I was guided to it and really felt compelled to share this information with you because I think there's someone out there that's really going to benefit from it. There's someone out there that's really going to, it's really going to help. Robert Taylor, thanks for hopping on. Carissa Rogers, nice to see you. Thanks for hopping on. Who else do we have? Rick Ram from Montreal. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Thanks for hopping on. Long time no chat. All right, so 10 reasons why most people can't handle you if you are an empath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the article, that which I kind of condensed it a little bit for the sake of time, but that which I actually did print off, I'm going to go through the article and I'm going to give you my own personal take, a little bit of my own personal experience as I go through this. And if this really is landing and really is resonating with you and you want more information, first of all, the article came from ideapod.com, 10 reasons why most people can't handle you if you're an empath. And you can always drop me a comment or send me a private message. I've been rolling around in this stuff for years. So if you got any questions and I can help in any way or point you in the right direction, I'd be happy to do that. So never hesitate. So what exactly is an empath? An empath, basically the person who understands your pain, your joy, and everything in between, right? So being empathic. Now, some human beings are more empathic than others, but an actual empath, there's a little bit more to that. Their big heart, for example, their big heart gives too much. Their big heart gives too much even though they receive too little. We're givers. We're definitely the givers. Give, right? And sometimes to our detriment until, we mature a little bit and get a little bit older and learn that healthy self-care and boundaries are really, really important. They'll love you unconditionally and protect your emotions at all costs. Again, until we mature a little bit, that can go as far as enabling, right? Until we get to a place of, understanding that sometimes protecting someone's emotions is not the healthiest thing. But we definitely love deeply. We feel deeply with great passion and are capable of incredible unconditional love. I, for one, as a little caveat, have learned that sometimes I need to love from a distance, though, in terms of taking care of myself. I need to love myself first, I need to love myself more, and I need to sometimes choose to love from a distance in terms of taking care of myself. And that was a lesson hard-earned, hard-learned over many decades. So sounds like the perfect person, right? Sounds like the perfect person in terms of unconditional love, big heart, givers, etc. So why are so many empaths single? The author of the article asks, why are so many empaths single? Hey, Angela, nice to see you. Thanks for hopping on. And M. Kier, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for hopping on. So why are so many empaths single? And this, is really where it got my attention, because I'll tell you, this was an area where I struggled for a long time, and I now understand at a whole other level why I had so many challenges in this area. And a big piece of it was because I am so empathic, because I am an empath. I met the love of my life at 45, and I spent 8 years single before I met him. Got sick and tired of doing what it was that I was doing in that area of my life, and really got committed to rolling up the sleeves and doing the work and healing and learning and growing and evolving, and man, was it worth it. It was worth it. But so why are so many empaths single? Well, if you didn't know, an empath is someone who is highly, highly sensitive to the energy, moods, and emotions of people and situations, to the point where they can take on those emotions as their own. So that's really, there's a lot to it, and we're going to get into some of the details, but that's really the crux of it. That's really the crux of it. We are so highly sensitive to energy. We feel everything, and we feel it deeply. Today, I've got all kinds of tools and things that I do to take care of myself. I've learned and picked up a lot of stuff over the years, but for a long time, lots and lots of struggles, lots and lots of challenges, because I didn't understand this about myself. I thought there was something wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with me. But for a long time, I thought there was something wrong with me. We're highly, highly sensitive. We pick up the energy, the moods, and the emotions of others to the point as if it's our own. Very difficult to separate. So I have learned to ground myself. I have a shielding, grounding, energetic exercise that I do morning and evening. Sometimes I skip evenings, I have to admit, but you know, I do it as consistently as I am able to be consistent, because it's not our strong suit. We'll get into that. I smudge on a regular basis. Meditation is huge for me. Salt baths almost every night for the last 15 to 20 years. A really pure, very, very pure type of salt that I buy. Not just your regular pharmacy Epsom sea salt, but this is a very pure form of salt that I get through a health food store. I've been using it for 15 to 20 years, and it's been my lifesaver. It literally cleanses your energetic force field at the end of the day. If you've been out in a crowd, a shopping mall, a concert, a party, whatever, and you come home and you're like, you soak 20 minutes in this stuff, and let me tell you, you're a whole new human being. So there's all kinds of things that we can do to learn to take care of ourselves, but we need to understand this about ourselves. Like, this is the thing, we are so highly sensitive that we literally absorb the energy and emotions of other people. So we have to learn how to take care of ourselves. What are we exposing ourselves to? Who are we exposing ourselves to? Like my guy loves concerts. I enjoy, as an example, I enjoy live music. I enjoy that sort of thing once in a while, but I can't go to concerts it's a regular thing for him, and he goes on his own or with the guys, because I can't do it. Never mind that we have different taste in music, but I can't handle the crowds. Drives me bananas. Like, I just have no desire to be in that environment. So it's just a matter of learning how to take really good care of ourselves. Even though their superpowers come with a range of strengths, and we come with a range of strengths. We're going to get into that. Most people, especially insecure ones, simply can't handle them. Most people, especially insecure ones, simply can't handle them. So here's why. There's 10 reasons why, and we're going to get into that. So if this is speaking to you, I hope that this will help you understand yourself a little bit better, so you can gain some clarity and start to take better care of yourself. And for me, this information was life-changing. This information, quite a number of years ago, when I started to take this on and understand this, it all made such perfect sense. Everything shifted for me. Everything shifted and everything got a whole lot easier. But before I dive into that, I just want to say one little disclaimer. This is not a value issue. What we're talking about here, when we're talking about human beings who are considered empaths, if that's you, or not, this isn't a better, best, better than, less than. It's never a value issue. Every human being comes to the planet with value. We are all valuable. We are all worthy. All of us. So this is never, ever, ever about value. It's not a value issue. It's more an issue, I'm just going to try and say this succinctly, because I could talk about this for hours, but it's more an issue of just how we're wired. I believe there's great, big, huge spiritual soul purpose in why we come to the planet the way that we do. And because we come to this planet at this time, with the planet being the way that it is and us being the way that we are, it's freaking challenging, but we're here on purpose. We're here for a mission. We're here to help change the world. We really are. So it's important that we understand ourselves. So even though their superpowers come with a range of strengths, which absolutely, most people, especially insecure ones, simply can't handle them. That's the story of my life. Story of my freaking life. So here's why. Reason number one, empaths ask too many questions. Empaths ask too many questions. We're like, we want to know. We're curious. Why? Why? Well, why this? Why that? According to who? According to what? Why? We want to know why. We don't just accept everything at face value. We can feel our truth, but you can't just say, well, this is the way it's always been done to an empath. They're not going to accept that, right? They ask too many questions. People in general don't like to contemplate the hard questions in life. A lot of people don't. They just couldn't be bothered to contemplate the hard questions in life, and it can lead to a relationship breakdown before it even gets started. Back to why so many empaths are single for so long, right? If an empathetic person is looking for someone to share their hopes and dreams with, they might be disappointed to find out that most people, not all, but most people are creatures of habit and automation. Most people are creatures of habit and automation. And if you're an empath, you are not. And it would be very, very difficult for you to be in a committed, long-term, serious, intimate relationship with someone who is on autopilot, habit, automation. It'd be very, very difficult. Number 2, empaths are honest. Honest to a fault. Story of my life. They can't hold anything back even when they know it will cost them a relationship. They can't hold anything back even when they know it will cost them a relationship. And this has been a big challenge for me in my life. Again, the older we get, we mature, we become wiser, we become less, in my opinion, crippled with codependency and hang-ups and all of that nonsense. And we learn boundaries, and sometimes nothing is more powerful. Saying nothing is more powerful. We get better as we get older, but very, 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 very difficult, especially if it's important for us to not speak our truth. And I'll say on this one, for 33 years of my life, as a child, I was handed a very heavy secret to carry. And for 33 years of my life, I carried that secret until the day came where it was time for me to step up, in spite of consequences, in spite of catastrophic fallout, in spite of, it was time for me to step up and speak the truth at a certain point. And in doing so, I realized, in retrospect, just how crippled I had been for so long, because at the tender age of 7, I was handed a secret to carry for so long. It was just a little, personal caveat here, just to say that honesty is such an important, I think, for all human beings, but I think when we're talking about empaths, I think that because I am an empath, carrying that secret for me was so crippling and detrimental. I heard it said a number of years ago that we are as sick as our secrets. And I can tell you, friends, that when it comes to empaths, if you are an empath and you are carrying some sort of crippling secret, you need to deal with that somehow, some way. You need to find a way to deal with that. I know this from personal experience. This is a big one. Don't mean to get too heavy and what have you, but this is a big one for us. Honesty. We have to stand in our truth, live our truth, speak our truth. And I can tell you from personal experience that if and when we aren't doing that, whether we were manipulated as a child into secrecy or whatever the situation is, if we're doing that, we are making ourselves very, very sick. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, we are seriously hurting ourselves as empaths, okay? That's a big one. Number 3, empaths know what they want. Empaths know what they want. Are you still wondering what you want to be when you grow up? Empaths aren't. They have a clear vision of where they're going and how they're going to get there. All right? We come to the planet with a mission. Sometimes it takes us a while to figure it out, but we know we're going somewhere, and we know there's a reason for it, and we know we're going to get there, right? Getting where they want to go is an important priority for an empath. Important. Number 4, empaths want empathetic partners. Oh my God. How true is this? Empaths want empathetic partners. So good luck with that, is what the author of this article says. They want meaningful relationships that have many levels of complexity. It's hard for the average person to buy into that. If a person is looking for a one-night stand, empathetic people should not be their target. There's so much truth in that. It's mind-boggling. And this is why I just felt compelled to share this, because again, I've been rolling around in this topic for a number of years. It was life-changing for me once I was exposed to it. It helped me understand myself at a whole new level. And this was such a really like bang-on, succinct article on the subject that I just wanted to share the information. So I hope you guys are getting some value. Drop me some love hearts to let me know whether or not you're finding this valuable. I'm assuming you are, because if you aren't an empath or very tightly involved with an empath and you're here because you want to understand them a little bit better, if you aren't one of those two, I'm putting you to sleep and you've long left anyway. So where was I? Number five. Intimacy is a given. Empaths are not afraid to let you see her in a vulnerable state. It's true. Empaths are not afraid to let you see her in a vulnerable state. This is hard for most people to deal with. But when they find the person who gets them, it will click instantly. We feel things so deeply, so much, which is why a lot of empaths, quite frankly, have had or have challenges with substance abuse issues, because walking around on this planet, and if we haven't dealt with our personal stuff, medicating the pain is, often part of the journey until you learn another way. But, we feel things so deeply, and have no issue being vulnerable to the point where that can make people uncomfortable. Again, as we grow older, we mature, we learn healthier boundaries and become wiser. But this is definitely a big part of the challenge for empaths, a big part of the challenge. Number 6, empaths see through the crap. Empaths see through the crap. Like, it's hilarious how accurate this is. I am so onto people's bullshit. It's crazy. And it's always been that way. And for a long time, I denied it. And I've just, again, we get older, right? So I've just sort of, surrendered and relaxed into that, gift/curse, because it's a bit of both, right? It's a lot of both, actually. But here's what the author says about that. People who suffer from self-esteem issues and confidence issues don't hold their own well with empathic women in particular, because they are so in touch with their own feelings and state of being in the world, they can pick out the people who are imposters and struggling to find their way. Empaths like to build themselves up with people who are like-minded, not take on a project. Well, I would add, abso-freaking-lutely, but a younger empath who has yet to really come into their own is probably still struggling with some codependency issues. And being so feeling and sensitive and open, we can be fixers and enablers and rescuers. And, a lot of us have had to walk that path. But the truth is, as this point makes, we're on to you, baby. We're on to you. We feel things, we know things, we see things that most people do not. And it's a gift and a curse all at once. And I think the older I get, the more I'm learning to use it as a gift in service of other people. It's not easy, walking into a room and picking up on everyone's feelings and knowing things and issues and all of the dynamics, like, coming at you full force like a wave. That's what it's like. That's what it's like for us, right? And we're like walking lie detector machines. You can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to us. You can't lie to us. Number 7. Empaths like consistency. They hate people who bail and don't follow through on their promises. They hate people who bail and don't follow through on their promises. I could speak to that a little bit more, but I think I'll just keep moving on. Number eight, empaths are intense. Empaths are intense. There's no way around it. Empaths have a lot of intensity. A lot of intensity, more than the average Joe, for sure, for sure. And they aren't making any apologies about it. They aren't making any apologies about it. You're either on board with what they've got going on, or you move on. It's just that plain and simple for an empath. Number 9, empaths go all in. Empaths go all in. There are no half measures with an empath. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're all in, or we're not. And number 10, last but not least, empaths are independent. Empaths are independent. Again, story of my life. Like, fiercely independent. Fiercely independent. You should know that an empathetic woman won't wait around for a person to get their shit together so that they can be together. Empaths don't need a person to solidify their place in the world, and while that might mean they're single for much longer than they hoped, story of my life, they're okay with their choices and stand by them so they can have the love they always wanted. So they can have the love they always wanted. Let me tell you, I was 45 before I met the love of my life. And like I said, I chose 8 years single. I dated here and there long enough to know that, but 8 years I was single. I chose to be single and work on me. And had no real issue with it. No real issue with it. I was so sick and tired and fed up of like the nonsense that I had been attracting. I really needed to take the time to sort myself out, really. And had I known at the beginning that it was going to be 8 years, I might not have been so keen. But it is what it is. That's what it ended up being. But let me tell you this. It was so freaking worth the work, and it was so freaking worth the wait. The wait. It was, if you are younger and like maybe I was in my mid-30s and feeling like, for crying out loud, I've been dating for 20 years. Where the hell is he? Like, I'm exhausted now. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, that's where I was. That's where I was in my mid-30s, quite a number of years ago now, but that's where I was. If you're there, please, hold on. Take a deep breath. Learn to love yourself at deeper and deeper and deeper levels. Deal with your stuff. Focus on you. Relax. And if you do all of that, you are far more likely to attract a partner who is really going to be able to love you the way that you deserve to be loved. I'm so glad that I made that choice. Being independent helped. Being independent helped, and we are fiercely independent. So I added some of my own notes to this, some things that I thought were missing from the article that I wanted to share. John Perez, how are you? Michelle Kitchener, my goodness, long time no speak. How are you? Nice to see you, girl. All right, so in my opinion, as I understand this subject, my girlfriend Shannon's on here, and she's actually the perfect example. She is definitely an empath. There she is, giving me love hearts. She's no question an empath, one of the sweetest, most beautiful souls I've ever met. I love this girl. She is, in my opinion, a fine example of a gentle, now don't get me wrong, this girl I have no question could be fierce. No question, if you threatened anyone or anything that she loved, she would step up. There's no question. But by nature, she emanates love and gentleness. And then there's another kind of empath, more like me. And we carry the warrior ray. There's no question. We're both empathic, but we show up a little bit differently. We relate, we identify, we get each other. There's so much about one another that we understand, but we show up in the world a little bit differently. So all of this is to say, like, this isn't about just putting, like a certain group of people in a particular box. There are different types of empaths. There are different types of empaths. So we're not all, walking around, looking, acting, behaving exactly the same way, but there are certain things that are common to our experience, and I thought this was a really great explanation of that. If you feel like you are often misunderstood, you've always been misunderstood. You've never really fit in, whether that's with your family, at school, at work, society at large. You're often misunderstood. You're often misunderstood, right? Like you're from another planet. Like people just don't get you. You're probably an empath. So what I've learned is how critically important it is for us to find our tribe. Quality over quantity. Trying to get people who are not empathic to understand this is an exercise in futility. And often, certainly was the case for me, and I know many other of my empathic friends, often, I'll just share a little bit of my own, a little bit more of my own personal story. Not always, but often, for whatever reason, I believe there's greater purpose in all of it, but we don't land in the healthiest of families. Let's just put it that way. We find that we have had to come up through some extremely difficult circumstances. And there's a number of reasons for that, potentially. I've had your average pagan soothsayer, energetic healer, wisdom teacher say to me, the reason I landed in that family was because chose, a lot of people say that we choose our family, and I say, wow, I must have been in a hurry. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, right? I must have been in a hurry. I mean, it was like growing up on a freaking pirate ship. And I'm not unique. That's a lot of us, have those kind of experiences. And I've had some really wise people say to me, because they needed my energy. The reason I landed in that family or chose that family or, was incarnated into that family was because they required my energy. And as difficult and painful and all of the stuff that it was growing up in that kind of insanity, I had what it took to survive and to come out the other end and use my life and have a positive impact on other people. And that's the gift. We as empaths come here with a mission. We're warriors, I believe, spiritual warriors. And we got to get our shit together. We got to get our shit together. Because the planet is on a trajectory, the human race is on a trajectory, as Marianne Williamson would say, that is not sustainable. So we got to get our shit together. We got to wake up. We got to get our shit together. And it is not easy, that is for sure, being an empath on planet Earth, in the midst of what we are living on planet Earth today. There's no question, energetically. It is not an easy path. So it's critical that we learn how to take care of ourselves, and it's critical that we find our tribe. It's critical that if any of this speaks to you, that you find your tribe. Get online, educate yourself. There's so much information about this online. You can educate yourself easily. Reach out to me if I can help you, if you have any questions, if I can support you in any way, point you in the right direction. But you are the way you are on purpose, and it's a beautiful thing. Again, it's not a value issue. None of us is more valuable than another. We're just wired differently, but it's not an accident. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And that, my friends, is all I got. That's all I got. I want to share with you, this is my little birthday present to myself. Can you see that? It arrived yesterday. I was so excited. So I am launching April 2nd this fabulous course that I'm so excited about, that I am pouring my heart and soul into. It is called Manifestation Mastery Intensive. It's all online, digital, and it starts April 2nd. If you want some info on that, you can go to TamieM.com and just click on courses. You'll see Manifesting Mastery there. And I thought it would be appropriate, since I'm going to be talking so much about manifestation and getting the magic wand back in your hand so that you can consciously create the reality and circumstances that you want to experience. I thought it would be appropriate for me to have a magic wand. So I bought myself one for my birthday. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I bought myself a magic wand. It's a pink one because pink is my favorite color, and I quite like it. I haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. I need a little practice with the whoosh and flick, but I want to send all of you guys much love, much love with my magic wand. I'm thinking it needs a name. I'm thinking I've got to name it. So if you guys have any really cool ideas for a little nickname for my new friend here, my magic wand, drop me a comment and let me know. Oh yeah, and I did a brief live earlier as I was getting ready to head into the doctor's office. Most of you know, I'm sure. For those of you who don't, I broke my arm 7 weeks ago, and I did a good job. It doesn't show because I don't have to wear a sling now, but there's a lot I can do. There's a lot I still can't do. Anyway, so I had to go in for follow-up after follow-up x-rays, and really my doctor just wanted to tell me to do less, stop doing so much. I have a broken arm. Apparently she felt like I needed the reminder. So it's going to be another month or so at least before I am anywhere near back to normal. It is what it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I slipped on the ice. Calgary, they do not take care of their roads here. I am originally from Montreal, and when it snows, they clear the roads, they clear the sidewalks, they put salt out. Here, they don't do that. They don't do that. It's crazy. Like, if you can see what the road looks like in front of my house, it's crazy. It's like the city is a death trap in the middle of the winter. So anyway, sure enough, I wasn't paying attention, slipped on the ice, broke my arm. Here I am. And I don't know, maybe one day Calgary will decide to follow in, you know, the wise footsteps of Montreal and take care of the roads in the winter. Like, it's brutal. It's so freaking dangerous. The night I did this and I was in ER, there were half a dozen other people sitting there in ER who had done the exact same thing that I did, who had broken bones from slipping and falling on the ice. That's the kind of death trap this city is in the wintertime. So Dale and I were talking, and we're thinking next winter, we are out of here. We are out of here. Alberta is beautiful. I'm very happy here. I met the love of my life here. Calgary's a great city. I just wish they would take better care of their roads in the winter. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling now. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys got some value out of this today. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, comment, and or share. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you want some info on my Manifesting Mastery course that starts April 2nd, go on over to TamieM.com. And if you haven't joined my private Facebook group, Tamie M's Growth Zone yet, today would be a really good day to do it because I'm offering up some really cool stuff. Tomorrow's my birthday, and to celebrate, I'm offering up some really cool free stuff and discounts and all kinds of stuff going on for the members of my private group only, though. So Tamie M's Growth Zone on Facebook if you want to join that. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will chat soon. Mwah. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Bye for now.